Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. It is time for some more news. So let us begin. The first article comes from Monochrome Watches, and this is a piece discussing the pursuit of thinness, where they discuss the Octo Finissimo as well as the watch that has dethroned it, coming from, of all brands, Richard Mille. That is weird. In this article, they mention just how thin the Octo Finissimo is. It is 1.8 millimeters in thickness, thinness, and this, interestingly enough, is as thick as one of these. This right here is a spring bar, and using my Marathon plastic calipers, we can measure the thickness of the spring bar. As you can see, it is about 1.9 millimeters thick. So even this spring bar is thicker than the Octo Finissimo. That is absolutely crazy. It really puts the thinness of this watch into perspective. Thank you so much to Monochrome for making that comparison. Now that watch is even more mind-blowing. The next article also comes from Monochrome Watches, and this is about a tribute that Seiko's done to the Honda Super Cub. The Super Cub is a vintage scooter, kind of like a Vespa, that Honda put out. What do I think of these watches? I really like the green and cream variant. That watch looks so great, and I love how they use the indices for 11 and 1 as sort of like the blinkers. So you're looking at one of the scooters from the front, that's the dial. The scooters themselves are interesting. They're kind of like a misshapen Vespa. They don't have quite the charm that Vespas do, but they're kind of cool. The next article I have comes from Worn & Wound, and this is about an interesting watch that Fossil is putting out. It's a slap watch. What the heck is a slap watch? Well, you might recall back in the day there was such a thing as slap bracelets, where you just kind of slap them and they snap around your wrist. They are originally rigid and straight, and when you hit them on your wrist, they snap into a round shape that just kind of hugs your wrist. Kind of like this video demonstrates. What do I think of these? I think that slap bracelets are a strange idea, but I kind of like strange ideas. It's cool to see brands coming up with something unique and different that the world really hasn't seen before. And I suppose these watches would fall under that category. Gimmicky, yes, but it's kind of cool that they're thinking outside of the box. So kudos to Fossil for that. The next article also comes from Monochrome Watches, and this is about a high-end auction house that doesn't just sell fancy vintage Rolex sports watches or high-end APs or other brands from the Holy Trinity. This features more independent brands and unique pieces. I mean, check out that amazing Daniel Roth watch. That is absolutely gorgeous. And the de Bethune Dream Watch is crazy. What do I think of this? I think it's great to see something other than your run-of-the-mill high-end watches that tend to show up in auctions. Vintage Daytonas and whatnot. It's cool seeing pieces that I've never seen before. That's refreshing. The next article I have comes from Time & Watches. And this is an article featuring the Grand Seiko Elegance collection. This is a line of somewhat minimalistic, dressy pieces that Grand Seiko's putting out. What do I think of these watches? They're right up my alley. These are no-date watches with batten markers and Delphine hands, and great texture on the dials. These watches are absolutely gorgeous, and they have 37mm case sizes. Brilliant. I would love to see one of these in person. I have to say that Grand Seiko's design language is absolutely gorgeous. There are so many Grand Seikos I've seen out there that just look brilliant. I would love to see some in person. maybe own one someday. The last article I have comes from Deployant, and this is about a Long A Zeitwerk watch. And the reason I'm featuring this article is because the wording that the author used in one portion of the article kind of cracked me up. The sentence that I'm referring to is this one, but both the new Zeitwerk models are not limited editions and not particularly a top-level priced product. These are $64,000 to $74,000 watches. I realize there's plenty of watches that are way more expensive than that, but to imply that these are attainable watches seems a little bit out of touch to me. I feel like maybe this author has handled way too many ultra high-end watches and has kind of forgotten that most of us out here, us real people, normal collectors, would not find these prices attainable. I'm glad they aren't ultra limited editions, that's cool. Not so attainable. So there you have it, another round of news for early December. Thanks for watching.